When I was a kid, my mom used to pray for me and say, Kareem, may I see you a leader one day, coming with victory for Islam, or a leader who is coming back, death. In the Quran, we grow up with two things. First, you should give your life to God. Second, you should defeat Jews and Christians. I memorized the Quran. I memorized the Sunnah books. I did all of the responsibilities a Muslim should be doing every day. My daily life was always built and centralized around Islam. I was dreaming of that day until I got this fantastic opportunity when the Americans attacked Iraq. 2002, 2003, this was a big fight. And I said to myself, this is the moment where I will give my life to God. I was dreaming with this phone call that will come to me and this man who will help me to let me go and fight the infidels. And this call has come. And in that day, the man told me, I'm sorry, Kareem, the operation has been cancelled. Bye. This call, this very sad call, the worst news I have ever received in my life. I got frustrated. I was so much frustrated. I felt that I lost everything. I felt that I'm rejected by God Himself. God has rejected me. In Islam, they believe that the people who give their life to God, the martyrdom, they are called by name by God Himself. So for me, I was not called. After all the prayers, after all the fastings, after all the things I have done, I'm not called. This is a disaster. I started to disappear. I'm not out like before. Until one of the leaders called me and he said, I got to know what happened, Kareem, and I want to meet you. I went to meet him and then he told me, Kareem, why you are so sad? I said, God didn't choose me to die. And this man said a prophecy, I believe. He said, maybe because He chose you to live. I asked him, what should I do now? He said, you need to evangelize. I started to evangelize like never before. I was everywhere, even on TV. In the first days, I was getting tense to Islam. But then the problem that I was not satisfied. There was something always missed, something is not there. Here was my first problem, because when I went to study with Muslim apologists, 80% of what they say is about Christians. Look how they were, look they are without hijab, look what they say. Only 20% about Christianity. And this 20% was not fair academically. Because when you want to interpret one verse in the Quran, you need a lot to do. You need to read Asbab al-Nuzul, the reasons, you need to read the commentators, and you need to have basic knowledge of how to interpret. But when he was interpreting the Bible, he was just saying, look, Jesus here is saying this and that. It was too obvious to be true. Too obvious. I said to myself, okay, now I need what I call the Christian tablet. So in another way, I want summary of the faith. Like doctrines. Tell me the doctrines. We believe in 1, 2, 3, 4, so we know what is wrong with that, which is easy to do, and then we evangelize these Christians. We do da'wah to them. I tried. I searched around. It was very hard for me to come with something that I can understand or can grasp, until I started to be frustrated. By the end of many weeks, I started to talk to God, like, God, you don't want to help me here? I need help. Until one day, I was sitting on my computer, and a dial-up advertising came up, and the time of dial-up before Wi-Fi came up, and it was written on it, do you love Allah? I clicked it. I thought it's a Muslim website, because they write Allah, Allah is a Muslim word. But I found out that it's a Christian website. It speaks from Genesis till Jesus arrived to earth and resurrected, passing by the most central prophets in the Bible, like Noah, Abraham. This was amazing, to the extent that over the first time in my life, I looked and I said, maybe we are wrong? This is kind of impossible for a Salafi to say so, but maybe we are wrong. But who said that God exists? And I started to see that I don't have any evidence for anything. I don't have evidence for Islam, I don't have enough evidence for God Himself.